Cool, guys. It's 1 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, Claudia. David Faraji's jumping on. Hi,
Hi.
Susan. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to respect your guys' time and Kevin's time. I'm so appreciative that he is with us this hour for today. Super excited about talking time management, right? That's a huge thing in not just in this business and life in general, right? I know that I'm excited to listen in on how you found ways to manage your time better and just, what you have to say. Because I know that he did this a few weeks ago at a North Scottsdale brokerage, and the feedback from the broker there and the agents was phenomenal when I was talking to her. And I was like, cool, we got to get him on this. I need to know what he was talking about. So as we are winding down the year and going into 2023, of course, we want to make sure that we have things in place and we're using our time wisely so we can ensure that we can get through the market changes and just be able to reach your goals that you have for next year. So I'm very happy to have you on here again, Kevin. Thank you so much. Do you need anything from me at this point, like to share screen, or you're good? I think you're muted.
There I go. I'm up.
There you are. Yes.
So yeah, just share it and I'm up and running, man.
Perfect. So you should be able to do share screen, the bottom. You see the green where it says share. Let me make sure I made you co-host. I think I did.
So I don't want to bring it up yet, but I'll bring it up here soon.
Okay, cool.
So first off, thanks for having me on here, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you.
It's always fun to share this stuff and teach this stuff, because one of my favorite authors, Grant Cardone, talked about, he writes books for himself, right? Whatever we're struggling with, that's often what we'll study and then what we'll learn and then what we'll talk about a lot, because obviously we're wrestling with it. And time management, told my wife a couple of weeks ago when I did it for the North Scottsdale office that I was teaching on time management. And she goes, really? You're teaching on time management? So she kind of got a chuckle out of that. And but it is, I mean, there's some hacks in here that have really worked out for me that I've just taken from little things that I've read and dug into. And I hope it's super useful for all you guys. Ultimately, just kind of as you dive in here, just best thing, ways that I've learned to grab some of this is just, if you get one thing that you grab and just want to implement right away, just to go, you know what, let me try this for a week and just see how it goes. That one thing can just start the process, the domino effect, just start changing a lot of things in your business. So my one thing to start it all off is I would like to introduce you to the Stealth C21000 model timer, whatever you want to call it, $18 on Amazon. This thing is gold. And I'll tell you, this thing is gold because you literally set your timer for whatever you want, set your little start the time off and running, and then you're racing against the clock for what you want to do. So I'll bring up my sheet here to just get you, give you an example, to just kind of set up your day. And
there it is. Nice.
So to start it off right up top is just plan your day and stick to your plan. Ultimately, if we don't have it written down, a realtor's schedule always changes. If we get calls, we got a hot listing, we got a hot buyer. I mean, there's just lots of things that can change. We'll have families, kids call, schools call, kid gets sick, things happen. There's things that just change all the time. Writing our schedule down on a daily basis is gold. I mean, this is just incredibly powerful to literally write it down the day before, the night before, or the morning of. Do like a Sunday plan. Whatever it is, writing down your plan is first and foremost. Now, of course, when you write it down, it's not the Bible. It's not just written in stone, but at least writing down so you have an idea of what your day looks like allows that vision to be put in your head of what you're going to do, what time you're going to get up, what you plan to do, and just to start your day. When we get up and we're just kind of like, we'll see what happens today. It's amazing how many of us and I'm guilty as well, how many of us don't get started till 10 o'clock or noon before we're up and running and moving and grooving with business and work. And we've wasted, 3, 4, 5 hours of potential good, solid work that could have been done. Here's the gold about this business. This is why I just love real estate. So blessed to be in real estate, is because we're in such a lucrative business that you can work just a little bit and make a whole lot of money. And the big issue is that when we work a whole lot, we oftentimes are so scattered, right? We're a mile wide and an inch deep that we're not being intentional about truly what we want to do. The most important thing in this business is reaching out to people. If you're not making connections, right, it's really hard to move the needle forward if people don't know about us, if we're not touching base, if we're not staying top of mind. So step number one right at the top here is just click, plan your day and stick to your plan. And again, it changes daily. Change it daily. Write it down. Sunday's a great day. Just grab an hour a day to plan it. 5 a.m. This is just an example of like a rough draft schedule for myself. But as you go through here, 5 a.m., wake up, excited, grateful, hit the gym for 60 minutes. And then Monday through Friday, have my plan for the gym. So know your plan in advance. So your plan for the gym could be like Monday biceps, Tuesday legs, Wednesday triceps, Thursday chest, Friday shoulders, Saturday back. Like, know what you're doing every day in the gym, or running or riding or jogging or yoga, whatever it might be. Write that down on Sunday so that hey, I'm working out 5 days this week and I know exactly what I'm doing every single day. This is powerful because you don't realize how much energy it takes in your brain after you've already worked 2 or 3 hours a day to go, you know what, I'm going to go work out, but I don't really know what to do. So I'm just going to go do some cardio for 30 minutes. And it just kind of takes away from how truly productive you could be, even to yourself. So just starting off with some gym, walk the dogs 20 minutes, get ready 20 minutes, do some quiet time to myself, some devotion, pray 20 minutes. Right away at 5 o'clock, I've spent 2 hours to really prime myself up. I've just poured a lot of time into myself. And my kids have to go to school at 7:10. So if I wake up at 5, I put 2 hours into myself, I'm ready. I'm ready to take the kids to school, get off started for the day. I could be to work by 8 o'clock. And then, if you're doing some affirmations, give yourself 10 minutes, review schedule, social, 5 minutes. This is a big thing too, is that using this timer, like this little gold piece, is so incredibly powerful, because when you jump on something like social media, as I just had my 4 minutes show up, if you jump on something like social media and you don't have an alarm, all of us have been there, right? Our brains get sucked into something. I mean, social media is like the super slow moving movie that we all keep watching, hoping it's going to get better. And it never gets better. The social media never gets better. A lot of times when we get off of it, we're like, I just wasted 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is. And then we're just burned out because we're just kind of irritated at the time, or the brain energy that it took to be on there. So what I've done, which has been significantly helpful, is I set like 5 minutes, 7 minutes timer. Jump on social, review social, see what's happening in your clients, in their lives, grab a blank sheet of paper, put it beside you, and write down, who's had life changes. Why should you send them a personal note, or give them a call, or send them a video text? Who has birthdays? All this can be done in like 5 or 7 minutes, and it's super intentional for all your past clients, current clients, family members. I mean, it just gives you a whole lot of ways to be intentional about living in a short little 5-7 minutes. And then even like if you want to send out 2 gifts, right? 2 notes or gifts a day, 10 minutes a day, give yourself a goal to send out 2 notes. And then I got these little cards that I put in with my personal handwritten notes, these little You Matter cards. No marketing, no nothing, just a little You Matter card. So I'll put that in with a handwritten note, and then often a business card, depending on the situation. I mean, it's somebody that knows you, knows what you do. You don't often need to put a business card in. If you're somebody that you're like, hey, sorry to hear about, your grandmother passing or something like that, don't put in a business card. Just send them a sincere note. It just says with a little You Matter card, they can use as a bookmark and just be reminded all the time. These are just little nuggets that I've got a lot of feedback on. People are like, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate your note. I use your little bookmark or note card. Simple things. So that's something that's really worked well for me. And then birthday anniversary videos, give yourself 5 minutes. I mean, I quickly just do, Justin and I did this on the other video too. I don't have my phone right now. But literally just hold up your phone for 30 seconds and just say, hey, happy birthday, Joe. I see online that today's your birthday. I hope you were just blessed and celebrated and knowing how important you are. And man, I just want to send you a quick video to say happy birthday. Have a blessed day. send that as a video text or a private message video rather than typing happy birthday on social media, or even this just very sincere. And most people will they'll be blown away with, you'll get a response back. They'll be like, I've never gotten a video text. That's awesome. Thank you. So you can do those and keep up on that. And then 1 year anniversary videos. Oh my goodness, I've been in your house for 1 year. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be part of this exciting transition in your life. Hope the home's treating you well. If it's not in any way, you need anything, please know I'm here, always available to you. And I'll stay in touch. Have a blessed week. You know, just a quick little video text out to people to let them know you're thinking of them, you care about them, and other ways to stay in touch. And then hot warm list or lead trackers, review your leads, 5 minutes, make your contacts, 10 contacts a day is my goal. And then 45 minutes, give yourself, some time to race against the clock. It's what's so fun. And I know I'm kind of flying through this a little bit, and I just keep coming back to this because this little timer makes the mundane fun. This little timer is something when you're like, I wonder if I can write 2 thank you notes in the next 6 minutes. Because then you'll do it. Then you got some reason to do it and get it done. And then when you put those little stamps on the mailing, on the personal notes and put it in the mail, you feel accomplished. You feel blessed because somebody's really going to enjoy that. You're brightening up somebody's day. You're reaching out to somebody. Give yourself a time. And then again, doing a post. I want to do 1 post a day, for example. Give yourself a time limit to do the post. 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. Get my post done and out. No distractions, no coffee breaks, no bathroom breaks, no phone calls, no email. 5 minutes, I'm going to get it done. And then do a real estate review for somebody or request a testimonial. Back to why we're in such an incredibly powerful, lucrative business in the world of real estate that we're in. Couple reasons. Obviously, we can work a little bit, make a whole lot of income. And it's job security. I mean, everybody owns a home. So this isn't, it's not something that somebody can sit there and go, you know what, I don't really need this item. They need a home. Eventually, somehow, some way, someday, they need a home. So it's job security. But the other thing is as you look down under this blessed to work section, by the time I do some affirmations, review my social, send out some notes, send out my birthday and anniversary videos, review my hot leads, make some contacts, a post, a real estate review, and a testimonial request, I've spent a total of 1 hour and 40 minutes. That means if I go to the office and I'm there by 8 a.m., I should be done with all of this by 10 at the latest, depending on how long my conversations go with my contacts. So, and you don't have to do all this, and I'll get to that in a second. The goal is not to fill up your list with a ton of different things to do. The goal is to be intentional at reaching out and being very much on purpose with your day, with every part of your day, personally and professionally. It's a fun little thing too, to get your kids hooked on. Hey, you know what? Go clean your room. I don't want to clean my room. I'll give you 7 minutes. And if you clean your room, you'll get an extra cookie if you get done in 7 minutes. It's just, this timer's a continuous, awesome, fun game. Growing up, my brother and sister and I did some of the best and fastest house cleaning ever done as soon as mom called and said she was on her way home from work. It's amazing how much you can get done to clean a whole entire house with 3 kids when mom's on her way home. So when you're racing against a clock, when you're racing against a goal, it's very motivating, and it just changes the whole process because you're so much more focused going, I only need to focus for 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 5 minutes for most of the stuff you do every day, for most of the things we do. But something to think about, again, this whole section here, you can be very intentional. If you send out 2 notes a day, make 10 contacts a day, that's 10 notes a week, that's 50 contacts a week you're reaching out to. You have all that done, you're done by 10 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have any appointments or anything to do, you truly can, if you're this intentional with your time, you truly can leave. Go do anything else you want to the day. Go take your kids out of school early and go to the Mavericks or go to Great Wolf Lodge and go play on the water slides. Go get a massage, go home, take a nap. I mean, if you're like, gosh, I couldn't get up at 5 a.m. Okay, get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Go get your work done for a couple hours. And then after your couple hours of work is done, if you're tired, go take a nap at noon or 1 o'clock and then jump back up and be ready for when your kids get out of school. This is just the power of this business, is that if we're this intentional to work this much, on the little things every day that move the needle forward, it's a whole shift. It's a whole shift on the productivity of your day, and you're done by the morning. You can fill up your afternoon with appointments, with your family, with date nights, with friends, hopefully with clients, fit some clients in there. But it's just awesome when you're this intentional with it. This whole aspect of grind and call 3 hours every single day is truly not necessary, and especially with the referral-based business, which we talk a lot about in the other video that Justin and I did, building up a referral-based business. But if I mean, grinding is like calling cold leads for 3 solid hours, which is incredibly exhausting. Calling cold leads, or even, following up with open house leads, things like that. You can set up a response. You know what? I'm going to do it for 35 minutes. I'm going to bust out all my lead follow-ups in 35 minutes. And then just set up and do it. If you do that consistently, you'd be surprised how many leads you can call in one solid week. So Tony Robbins makes a quote that he says, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. To put that in realtor terms, realtors underestimate what they can do in 3 months, or overestimate what they can do in 3 months, and underestimate what they can do in 6 months. Right? Like you can radically change your own business by purposeful actions within 6 months, sometimes even 3 months. We're all a little slow right now. The market's shifted a bit. Right now, all these little things that don't take too long, but they're very intentional on reaching out. They're planting seeds. We're planting a ton of seeds that are going to harvest very soon. All these seeds were, but we have to still keep planting, even though there's not a lot of sales or listings coming up at the current moment, just based off everything being down about 30 to 40% on supply and demand, does not mean there's not things to do. Just planting these for an hour a day can change everything next year for us. Everything. Just planting seeds that will continue to be harvested. And then if you want to add on to your business down here, one intentional meeting a week, to be able to meet with somebody and study and prep for it. So up here, I review my hot and warm list. My hot list is anybody that I got that's going to potentially buy in the next 3 months. My warm list is anybody that's going to buy potentially in the next 12 months. So, and then my lead tracker is just a sheet that I put all the leads that come in and just kind of track where they're coming from and how many I'm getting a month. So if I'm setting up one intentional meeting, my intentional meeting is with somebody that's potentially going to buy in the next 3 to 6 months. These aren't friend get-togethers. These aren't, hey, buddy, haven't saw you in a while, let's go get some coffee, unless they're sending you business or the opportunity to send you business. So you're just being very intentional about your meetings for business. You can set up coffee time, happy hour with friends another time, but if just setting up those 1 to 2 a week of intentional meetings is powerful and keeps you top of mind. If you want to farm, update your farm 45 minutes a day. If you want to do an open house, do an open house 3 hours or 2 hours once a week or every other week. I mean, especially now, these are becoming so incredibly powerful open houses because a lot of us have the time. There's not a lot of things going on. So sitting in an open house puts you in an opportunity for somebody to walk in, and people walk in all the time. I've sat multiple empty open houses, had a couple come in one open house. They walked around, said, we don't like it. I was like, what don't you like about it? They said, it's got a pool. We want no pool. I'm like, okay. So there's a great house right over here with no pool. If you'd like, I'd love to go show it to you. They said, no, we're all right. I said, you got a good agent helping you? They said, no, we have a couple agents helping us. I said, which means they don't have any agent helping them. I said, okay, well, call your agent and they can show you the home. They drove over, checked out the house, called on the sign. The listing agent didn't answer. They came back to the open house an hour later and said, we'd like to see that house. Would you show it to us? She closed up the open house, went and showed them the house. They bought it for $650, listed their townhome with me for $450. 4 open houses, 3 of them empty, 1 open house, a couple comes in and it's $1 million worth of sales. You never know what's going to happen unless you put yourself in a position to get out there. And it doesn't have to be 3 or 4 hours long. Do 2 2-hour open houses if you want. Maybe not a day, maybe a weekend, or just 1 2-hour open house. The point is to always, through all of these activities, be planting seeds. At your open house, maybe you do your 5-minute post. Maybe reach out to a past client and ask for a real estate review to go on Google or Yelp or Zillow or something. Write a couple of handwritten notes while you're there. All of this is just going to reward you incredible down the line. It's going to be incredibly impactful for you. So if you're not sure, this is the other thing too about kind of learning what to do. Like, okay, so when I call contacts, what's kind of the process with that? What should I say? One thing that I follow is I follow Ninja Selling, the Ninja process right up here. So if you haven't read the book Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall, it's my go-to for building a business, referral-based business. It's amazing. So Ninja Selling, I highly recommend it. But they talk about Ford, F-O-R-D, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So the conversation is literally just, hey, Tom and Nancy, how's your family doing? How's your kids doing? I heard they're in sports. How's that going? How's work going? Everything going good at work? How's that all treating you? You guys got any trips planned this weekend? Any trips coming up real soon? You're just starting a little conversation, you're using little things that could start a conversation that could take off at any given time. So that's all you're doing is just checking in with people and then just saying, hey, do you got any questions on the market? Any curiosities of what's going on? I did a Cromford class a while back, and the Cromford, as realtors, we're called to be the professional that tells the truth of the market. And there's such a massive untruth or distrust of what's going on out there. It's all false information, most of it, on the market that we're in. People I saw a news article the other day, the Phoenix market's dropped 158%. Well, of course it dropped 158% because we were in fantasy land. You can't appreciate 30% a year on a $700,000 house. But we're corrected and we're in a pretty stable market now, pending some interest rates or things like that. So being able to show people that stuff on a graph gives them more peace to go, you know what, maybe I will look a little bit closer at the market. And then getting into just your own amazing life, right? Making a goal to read 10 pages a day, journal 10 minutes a day, or meditate 10 minutes a day, or yoga, stretch, or walk with your dogs or kids or family in the evening. Another hour to yourself in the evening. All together to have an epically awesome, amazing day. I got 4 hours and 35 minutes? 4 hours and 35 minutes to have an amazing day. And that's just if I lived it perfectly. And I am not living this perfectly, I'll confess. But I'm being fairly intentional on a section of it that it's making a difference. So if you kind of go through some of this and you're like, you know what, I'm going to build my list. You can kind of copy this. I can email it out if somebody wants to use it as a template. But you can really simplify this. Maybe you're not interested in the affirmations or hot warm lists or things like that. Literally, you're just crossing something off and then let me go through it. You're striking it out. Go through here and just build things up until you find out what you're truly going to do. If you set out 4 things for yourself to do a week, and then you go a week without doing all 4 of them once, remove 1 or 2 of them, and then try the next week. If you'll do the 1 or 2 other ones for a solid week, then maybe add the 3rd one back in. But the whole point of moving forward every day in our crazy, twisted time schedules of the self-employed, free reign realtors that we are, you have to be consistent at something, whether that's notes or calls or posts or intentional meetings or open houses. We must be consistent at something. A lot of times we think, I'm going to crush it for 30 days. It's going to be awesome, or 60 days. I'm going to change my business radically. And it's like, but what can you hold for 6 months or a year? What can you do every day, 5 days a week for 6 months or a year? That's what you focus on right here. Not to do all of this stuff, but to be very, very intentional and consistent. This whole sheet, none of this matters. None of it matters if we can't be consistent. None of it at all. And then just some of the tools like the hot list lead tracker that I crossed out here. I wanted to just show, I don't know, let me see if it'll come up, an example of that, because I think it is helpful. So did this come up, Justin?
No, just the sheet got bigger. It's like,
so let me see if I can share.
you have to go back down to the green button.
Yeah. Okay, right here.
There it is.
How's that? So here's what I did on my birthdays. So I went through Facebook and I made a spreadsheet of all my birthdays. So I can literally bring up the Google Docs app on my phone. And then I also printed the last couple of months of this and I put it in front of my planner. So then I can look up and go, what's the date? What's the birthday? And then I'm off and running. I also did this for my 2021 closings. What buyers do I have to reach out to be able to say, hey, happy 1 year, you guys, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the purchase. And then here's my hot warm list. All of this is in Google Docs for me. So my hot list, for example, is right here, 3 months. I broke down everybody that's potentially a hot list. And then I added it all up. If everybody in my hot list bought in the next 3 months, that's $18 million worth of business potentially. Then there's also my warm list. Somebody who could potentially do something in the next 12 months. So if everybody did that, that's another 17 million in business potentially. Out of all my database, these hot list and warm list, again, are the people that I would focus on for really staying in touch with, really watching, doing individual meetings with, meeting up for coffee, keeping a close eye on social. You really want to be top of mind because when, staying in touch with them keeps you top of mind when they're ready to do something. So that's been a huge help, is just keep things simple for you. And then lead tracker, just going through, the green is people that are potentially ready to buy. The gray is people that have decided not to buy. So yeah, just making these things easy for you. And then notes, reason to write notes, right? So I want to send out notes a day. So just being able to write that up there. These are just tools that you have to, again, kind of like the timer, you have to make it easy on yourself to be able to do this stuff. Let me go back to the notes. So far, any questions in the chat or any questions people would like to ask at this point?
You guys can unmute, comment box. So far, I think the biggest takeaway is, right, that intention. Be intentional about what your process looks like or what your time blocking and your day looks like. Because when you break it down like this, like Kevin's saying, it's not, we kind of drag our tasks out longer than what they should be or what they need to be. And the reality is it could take 5 minutes. It could take, we just have to allow ourselves not to be distracted by everything else. And when you first talked about the timer, I was like, oh yeah, like a timer on your phone, but then there's danger in that, right? Like I'd almost, hopefully not working on my phone, I would remove my phone from the situation and have a separate timer like what you have. So you don't see the notifications coming up on your phone. You don't, the timer goes off and instantly you're going through emails or whatever it is, and you get completely sidetracked. Because I think we can all agree that we are just thrown so many different things throughout the day that it's easily to bite, and now we're completely off track.
Yeah, and you're right on with that. I mean, that's like going on to here, when you write down what your plan is, and then you get an email from a lender or title rep, God bless all you lenders and title reps, that says, hey, we got a class coming up on Facebook marketing or Instagram or things like that, and you're not an Instagrammer, you don't need to spend the time to go to the class. Like, don't get distracted if you've already got a plan in place. And another thing about the title reps is they are incredibly powerful and impactful with helping you design your plan. I ask my title rep all the time, what are other people doing? What's working in business? Not what are they paying for necessarily that's working. What do you see people that are intentionally doing that's working? They meet with realtors all day long, all week long. There's no better resource to sit down with your title rep to say, hey, what's working, what's not working. And this is what they're here for, is to add massive value to us. And they'll help you design this. If you're like, they'll be like, what do you like to do? What are you good at? What will you do consistently? That's what should be on this list, not Facebook marketing. Because if somebody said I have to Facebook market for the next 6 months, I would get out of real estate probably. Like, I just don't want to do that, but I already know what's working for me. So when I get a class or an invite to some of these classes that doesn't fit with my plan, I delete the invite. I don't go. You have to really protect your time. This is how you consistently move the needle forward. And sometimes we think in real estate, we're missing an opportunity to grow and expand. Again, just as Justin said, there's 100 opportunities to make money in real estate, from online to offline to in-person to open house to everything. There's a ton of ways, but you cannot do it all. There's a ton of agents making a good, healthy 6 figures doing only open house. Ton of agents making good, healthy 6 figures only focusing on referral. Ton of agents only focusing on farming, making a really good living. Ton of agents doing a couple of those together. But somebody who's like, yeah, I'm doing 10 different things, it'd be very interesting to track their leads for a year. So you just got to be very intentional, and then you know what classes, what education sources, what things to reach out to make your plan better and you more intentional. And if you struggle with this, kind of building your clear vision, then go down and find ways to pull yourself forward. So set some goals, set some things you want to do. These don't have to be defined and all meticulous and timelined and I want to do this by this, just some reasons of why you want to build a plan, why you're going to sit down on Sunday for an hour and build a plan. Maybe based off the slowness we're going through right now, maybe you never want to feel financial pressure again. That's an awesome reason to get up and be consistent at the simple hour, 2 hour things a day that we make so difficult or time sensitive in our minds. And I'm very guilty. Again, I've been the guy that's jumped on Facebook, lost time for an hour, got irritated or annoyed, went downtown, got a coffee, came home and Netflixed all day. Like, we all have these moments where we just totally slaughter our day. But in our business, we're blessed enough to start over the next day. And so maybe you want to build up savings to a certain number. Maybe you prepare for another market shift at some point in the future. Maybe you want to be home every night to do, homework with your kids, or make it a point to play games or movie it up, or maybe you want to make it a point to have weekends off. Time to read. I used to walk in coffee shops for the last 5 years and see people reading a book and go, how do they do that? I really want to sit down and read a book. I enjoy reading. And then I'm like, you get all this stuff in your mind. You're like, I don't have time to read. How am I going to read? You just do it. You just finally just go, you know what? I'm going to go take 45 minutes, go sit in a coffee shop for a while and read a book. Back to reference Grant Cardone, who wrote the 10X rule and Be Obsessed or Be Average, a ton of other books. Somebody asked him, like, how do you get it all done? You're in so many different things. How do you get it all done? He goes, it's very easy. I put the time into what I truly want to put the time into and nothing else. What he wants to grow in is where his time goes. Unfortunately, so many of us, again, me included, don't follow the same pattern, right? We're like, oh, they need help. They need help. I think I might do this. I think I might check out this class. I'll get to that tomorrow. And it's like, but a few hours a day in the world of being a realtor can, just blow up business in a very short time. So again, maybe you want a car, a new home, looking for an investment property, whatever it might be. These types of things just in your mind remind you and pull you forward of why to be consistent and why to have a plan. If you don't have it written down, again, our days change so much. They change radically with different things that pop up all the time. But having this written down makes us go, nope, I'll get to that later because I have a certain time to get back to calling people. I got certain things I want to do first. But again, goals and the daily vision work hand in hand and pull each other back and forth. Main things that push us to change is pain and pleasure. What is your pain and what brings you pleasure? This is why to do the time. I love being home when my kids are out of school. I'll leave the office often between 1 and 2 almost every day that I'm at the office because my kids get out of school at 2:20. I love being home when they're home, helping with homework, go outside, play some football, whatever it might be. But that's important to me. So that's a priority, and that's why I jump on in the morning and just get up and get it done while they're all at school. Maybe you want to do, have date nights or play piano or go visit some places. All of this, figure out what your pain is and what brings you pleasure, and then build those to push you forward. And be consistent. Again, daily actions. We don't make this difficult. We're talking an hour, 2 hours a day of very intentional timing can radically transform your life. So I hope this is insightful. I hope this is helpful. It's been incredibly helpful to me to play the timer game and to race against that and to be consistent. Again, you got to track these things. And that's all I got, Justin.
I agree. We talk about this all the time, but we complicate things, not even just in this business, just as human beings, right? We just think things need to be more complicated somehow. I don't know what we do, but breaking it down like this is incredibly helpful. And maybe we can type up something similar, or you can share this and I can share it with everyone, so they have a starting point. But I really think that we're getting towards the end of the year, and I would love for everyone on this call and listening to take the time, a little bit of time, right? It could be an hour, Max, where you go in and you create your bullet list here of what you're going to be intentional with, right? I love that you're using that word, intentional and on purpose. What is going to move the needle? So yes, you need a prospect for business. What does that look like? Like Kevin was saying, are you referral based? Are you open house? Whatever it is. So then time block those little periods so that you can ensure that those get done, right? You're making those a priority and you're keeping yourself from those distractions, cell phone mainly. And that way you can get those accomplished. But I would really love for each one of you to kind of make your bullet list and try it out in the first month of the year, the first quarter of the year. And Kevin and I had talked about this before too on the podcast, is start small. So he says one post a day, start with one post a day on one platform. You don't need to post on LinkedIn, Twitter, like all these different platforms. Just choose one, or else it becomes very overwhelming and we're not going to do it, right? If it becomes incredibly difficult and we feel that pain too much right away, we're going to more than likely not do it. So we kind of ease our way into that. But any questions from anyone on the call, for Kevin, for myself, for anyone?
$18 on Amazon. Buy one, buy 5, spread them around your house. Get your kids involved.
What's the name of that we can search?
Sell.
I made up the name. Skyhawk, Nighthawk, C2100. It's literally just a timer. Just do a little
I know.
timer on Amazon.
Yeah.
Even by the way, you forgot your coffee cup here in the office.
You're welcome.
The coffee
Oh
The
yeah.
bo-
Yep.
is here.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions, guys? Sweet. Kevin, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. He did the podcast. I put the link in the podcast in the chat box. Please make sure that you go and check that out. There's a lot of gold in there as well. And I will share something like this. I'll get the recording out to everybody and share a sheet like this so you guys can kind of use the template to get things going. But again, please, please, please take the little bit of time to kind of set up your time management and time blocking for the new year, and start small. Do it for the first month and then see how that goes. And like he said, the smallest steps are going to be the things that move the needle the most. So I hope everyone has an amazing rest of the week and weekend, and we will see you all in escrow very soon. And until next time, we'll see you in the next training. Everyone have an amazing day.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.